Hello, I'm Stan Nowlin with you again with the guitar instructional video that we started and showing you my method of playing the guitar. The last time we were together, we showed you that there were three forms of chords. And when these three forms of chords are used together, they form a major scale. Now, what we want to do now is take that a little bit further and of course, since we're still in A chord, but while we're playing in A, we don't want to think of as A, D, and E that we're playing in. We want to look at as numbers. We want to look at as 1, 4, and 5. And for the simple reason is that the 1, 4, 5 makes up the major scale when used together. To help us understand this, really, all music in the very beginning was based on numbers because music is numerical. And of course, in later years, the letters was added to it. But in recent years, the Nashville system has brought back the number system, and for the simple reason that it's a lot easier to write down and to remember and play by. So, since we're in a chord, it is referred to the 1. That would be home base, or it'd be the root chord that you're playing in. Of course, if we were playing in G, then that would become the new 1. No matter whatever key you're playing in, that's 1. So since we're in A, and when we go to the D, then that's referred to as the 4. And if we go back to the E, that would be referred to as the 5. Most songs are based on that, 1, 4, and 5. Most songs are like that, just simple. But why is that? Because the 1, 4, and 5 is part of the major scale. And I want to look at that. Okay, here we are again. I wanted to show you on this little chart I made here of the, here there would be each measure. And of course, 2 of them will be a whole measure. Of course, 1's a half measure. I want to look at this scale here of the major scale. Look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp, and 1 makes up the major scale. Notice the one that we're playing in is an A, and it's called a 1. Well, we find the D over here on number 4, where is the D. Of course, 5 would be the E. That's where the D and E shows up in the major scale. And so the major scale, if you look, I've got it wrote right here. The major scale is 2 whole notes, a half note, and 3 whole notes and a half, which makes up the major scale. So here's 2 whole notes right here. Then you got a half, makes up for 4. Then you got 3 whole notes, 1, 2, 3. And then you got a half, which is a 1. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is about this scale. You know, you would think it'd be hard to remember 1, 2. Of course, that usually is the minor, 2 minor, 3 minor, then a 4. Let me show you on the guitar what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are on the guitar. And I want to show you that major scale since we're in A. And when we go to the 2, usually 2 minor, 3 minor, 4. Now, I want you to look at the major scale a little different than normally. Normally, you look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp, 1. But I want you to look at it as 1, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1, which is a lot easier to remember, less numbers, and it actually works. I want to show you. When you're playing an A and you go to the 2, if we'll take off the minor note and make it, all that is a D or 4. And when we go up to the 3, take out the minor note, make it a 5. And then, of course, there's a 4, which is a D. 5 is a D. 4, D, 5, D, and A. So it sounds like this. And all that was is 1, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1. Now we're going to go backwards. And all that was is 1, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1. If you'll remember that, it'll help you when you're playing. Now, what we want to do is that we want to locate the root chord in those forms, 1, 2, and 3. So it's important to know where the root chord is, and the root chord is the one that is the key that we're playing in. You know, like 1 was, of course, is A that we're playing in. Here's the form for A, and so what we want to do is locate the 1, which is the 3rd string right there. That's the 1. And of course, the other ones right here. See, they all sound the same because they're the 1. It's important to know where the 1 is, but for this reason, whenever you start your scale, it has to start on the 1 and it has to end up on the 1. And so it's important to know where the 1 notes are. All right, now after here, not just that form there, but let's locate the root chord in form 2. Same key, and that's of course that the bottom string is A. Of course, and the top string hit together, that's 1. But here on this form, we have to, it's the 4th string. See, that's the 1. And so we go up to form 3 there, which looks like a C, you know. Now, the root chord note there is the 2nd string right there, and the 5th string right there. See? That's the 1. So on these 3 forms, on the first form, it's always the 3rd string. You got to memorize that. You have to memorize it, and that's the 1. And when we go up to form 2, it's always the 4th string in the bass note, in that note. You have to memorize where those are. And then of course, when we go down to this form, it's always the 2nd string and the 5th string. Important to know where the 1s are. Now, after we know where the 1 is in the form, we want to locate the 3 and the 5. And that's really easy because like when you're playing an A, that key is made up of 1, 3, and 5. Let's look at that. Here's the 1, and here's the 5. No, I'm sorry, that's the 3. And here's back to the 1. If we go up, that's 5, and there's the 3, 1. See, the whole key is made up of 1, 3, and 5. Here on the bottom 3 strings and in the top 3 strings, it's 1, 3, and 5. It's always, that's what makes up that chord. Now, so I need to locate the 5 and the 3. Now, that's real easy because wherever the 1 is, the string above it or below it, right here, that would be the 5. And below it here, that would be the 3. We automatically know that that's a 3. And then it goes back to 1. So if this is a 1, so this key note here is the 3. Because 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? So it's the 3. So now if we go up to the form 2, there's the root note there, and below it, that's the 3. Always, it never changes. Above it there is the 5. And let's see, if this is the 1, then automatically above it will be the 5. And if this is the 1, then this has to be the 3. See, it's real simple. It never changes. Even when you go up to form 3 here, there's the root, below it is the 5, and above it is the 3. 3. And if this is the 1, then this has to be the 3. And above it has to be the 5. So it's important to know where those notes are too. Okay, now, you know, anybody can show you a scale. You know, they can show you how to make the scale. And then you learn the scale and you try to put it to use. But really what's going to do you much better is to know why and how those things are made up. You know, if you can understand how they work, it's a lot easier in doing them. You don't have to memorize them really. It just comes, it just flows out because it's really simple. And so I think that because you want to have structure to your music. You want to have a reason why you do what you do. You don't want to just be haphazard and you play things and you really don't know how they work or why you're doing it. But we need to understand why we do these things, and it will make you a better guitar player. Now I think that's all I'll cover right now, but I want to go a little bit deeper because we also need to locate the 7 notes, the 7th. And those are really interesting, and we'll cover that on the next video. Thank you now. Thanks for listening. Bye.